What's up, creeps? It's Jason, a.k.a. the Pope of Pain, even though Charlie Band makes fun of my name.
Sure does.
You can just call me Jason. And of course, it's JDK. What's up, man? We're back, and we're going to do something a little different here on this Crypt Cut, because we had not an incident. We had I just say something at the store yesterday. It was kind of interesting. So we had a customer, a lady comes up to the counter, not buying anything, nothing in her hand, and she was kind of visibly disgusted. Says, you guys shouldn't. I can't quote her exactly, but
yeah,
you shouldn't sell memorabilia or anything that has to do with true crime, like serial killers. Like we're glorifying serial killers, and I think she was talking about we sell fucking mouse pads. She was looking at mouse pads that have Ed Gein on it, Jeffrey Dahmer, and all this stuff, right?
Sure. And
whatever, we have all that stuff here, and but it wasn't like she was like chewing her ass, but she was kind of like,
she wasn't happy.
No,
she wasn't happy at all.
And then she just kind of does a little circle around the store and leaves. So, and we, once again, we were kind of nice to her. We're just like, hey, I go, these are all, you throw individual vendors and everybody's got it. And I was about ready to say, have you ever fucking seen Netflix?
Yeah, seriously.
Right? So, but here's my thing. The reason I didn't kind of go defend the true crime or the serial killer thing was I don't know her story, right? Is she a victim, or is there a family member a victim of this, of maybe a serial killer or something like that?
Sure.
And so I can see that side of it, but, do you not watch Fast and Furious if you've been in a car crash?
Right.
I know that's a weird analogy, but I'm trying to make some sense out of this, man.
No, I got you. I bet she buys her kids Grand Theft Auto for Christmas.
Okay. Thank you. Right? Yeah. So it was kind of weird, right? And we sat and thought about this, and we're like, you know what? Let's do a Crypt Cut today. Let's do a Crypt Cut and kind of talk about. We'll give you like 6 bullet points that we've kind of thought of. I think 5 or 6, whatever we come up with. Why I think true crime is actually good for the horror genre.
Agreed.
Because we all know a lot of movies are based on true stories, on real, serial killers, or kind of like, based on.
Right, scratches the surface sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right, where they're like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is from, based on Ed Gein. Not really, right? But there is pieces of that, right?
For sure.
The using the skin, the human skin that makes to wear, a bodysuit or mask or whatever.
Right.
Mommy issues, it can go down to even Psycho, or whatever.
Yeah, the Hitchcock stuff for sure. I think a lot of inspiration there from
true
crime stuff. Even a lot of that early Giallo stuff was
absolutely
big tip of the cap.
Yeah. So basically, I think point 1 in all this is kind of this like real stories, right?
Right.
And there's nothing better when you get the based on true events, right?
Take my money.
Fucking everything's based on true. I could literally, fucking go to the moon today or whatever, and it's based on a true event somewhere, right? It doesn't fucking matter.
Coming to a theater near you.
Yeah, but I think it does make storytelling a little bit more realistic and suspenseful, because that's what we want, right?
One thing we want as consumers, if I'm going to view something and it's based on a true story, this happened in history. Something about this story has happened, and I want to know about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you get into true crime, and like I said, serial killer and stuff like that, that's this shit happened. You know what I'm saying? It's legitly happened. Someone went to jail. Someone died. Someone got executed. You know what I'm saying? Because of this stuff, right?
Perfect example. So if you watch the show, listen to the show, true crime is not personally my favorite thing in the world, right? But you took me to Vegas this year, and you took me to Zach Bagans' place. And there's that serial killer's room.
Yeah. Holy shit.
That was like one of the craziest feelings I ever had in my life, and I got it. Like, at the end of the day, I understood why the true crime genre is so fascinating to people.
Yes.
Because when you're sitting there and you're seeing all these things that have happened, 100% verified happened.
Yes.
It's over. It's such an
especially
insane
what was that? The Kansas City Butcher.
Yes.
Right. Where
especially
they actually Zach Bagans has this fucking guy's rich. He's got everything. He has the actual bed that he tortured. I believe, don't quote me, but 6 victims on. But over like an 8-week period, a 6 to 8 week period to each victim, right? And tortured you slowly. And you're sitting there looking at this bed. I'm like, this is some fucking horrifying shit.
Right, and then there's that point where I'm walking down the hall to the next rooms, and I find myself getting fascinated with that room, and then I'm questioning, am I a bad person? Like, that was incredible.
Yeah, exactly, man. So,
So.
All right, so moving on to our second point is kind of like, what do you want to call this, like fascination and fear, right?
Sure.
And you know how true crime, it dives into like, the darker aspects of human nature, man. But it also satisfies our little natural curiosity, right?
Of course.
On the motives behind the crimes or whatever. Because once again, or even the psychological side of the killers, right?
Right.
Why would a guy go in his house and, chop up his whole family?
Yes. And I think a lot of times logic gaps in horror movies, it's like the first thing people will criticize is, okay, he's killing, she's killing, why?
Right, exactly. So that's why I think they kind of go hand in hand a little bit, because, man, you could take a story off the fucking news, and if you're a good writer, you can twist and turn this and all this stuff, and it's you're gonna get a banger
for
right?
sure. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So, hey, banger.
I like it.
Let's move on to, I guess, kind of like, let's go relatability, you know what I'm saying? And kind of what true crime does is provide that realistic portrayal, I guess, of its consequences, right?
Right.
Of, what, because if I go right now, or we go outside and Justin just stabs me in the face, well, you're not going to ride off into sunset, most likely, right?
Most likely.
You're probably there's going to be a trial, you're going to be on fucking, every tabloid across America, because why would you stab the Pope of Pain in the face? I don't know. Although there's probably a line of people who want to stab you in the face. But that's okay.
No, not at all.
But it makes the horror genre more relatable, I think, and reflecting like the genuine fears, the dangers, I guess you want to say, or just challenges and all together, So when you watch, Leatherface chasing down, someone down, off down the road with that chainsaw, it's like, okay, I get it, man. That's fucking, what would I do?
That's nightmare fuel right
yeah,
there, right?
You know what I'm saying? And then that's what put yourself in a seat. What would I do? Which what we all would do, like fucking, a roundhouse kick, fucking kick the shit out of him, right? Whatever. Or would you? Or you just sit there and shit your pants,
I would for sure take the latter on that one for myself.
Yeah, so.
Absolutely.
Okay, what else we got? Just go like the psychological side, like the psychological depth of true crime, man, right? Because now we're talking like the complexities of the human behavior. Now, look, before I go in, it sounds like I really sound smart on this, but we're not. Like, I got a PhD, right, playing high school diploma. Right. You have associates, right?
Holy
so
shit.
Put together, guys, we could probably maybe qualify to work at a gas station. And no offense to those who work at gas stations right now, because you're a lot probably smarter than us. So
for sure.
But this is the stuff that we're just kind of figuring out, man. But I think one thing that we like is deeper character development, right? So getting into that psychological depth, and what makes up, Ed Gein. What made him go crazy and hack up, and skin, females and hang them up upside down and, and all that shit.
For sure. For me, the most fascinating part of the true crime whole umbrella, right, is the why.
Right.
Like you have, again, we're back at that museum. There's things like ice picks in front of me. There's all these different insane instruments. How do you get from the thought to the actual motion of doing all of these
things? That's
things?
actually one thing I love about any like serial killer style movie, right, is when they developed that character, what made him go fucking bonkers,
what
right?
Was the final straw?
Yeah, what was the, you fucking, what was it, like Pieces, when the mom comes in and takes away, was it a puzzle or something? Or something, right? I can't fucking remember. That movie was dumb.
He lost his fucking he lost his shit.
Yeah, and
that was it.
And what is the tipping point? So I'm always interested in that, guys, about that. So that psychological depth of that character, which is pretty wild,
When is the stamp book full?
Yes.
Shout out Gina.
There we go, man. And then dive into like the emotional impact, right? Because, true crime, it evokes a lot of emotions, fear, I guess, empathy, suspense, and all this stuff, right? And even sadness, if you want to look at it, right? Because, look, we can be like, oh, yeah, dude hacked up his family. But then, fuck, did those kids deserve to die? You know what I'm saying? No, they obviously didn't, right? So it's crazy. And that creates like a stronger bond between the audience and the characters themselves.
Of course, yeah, that relationship is deeply rooted.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So, emotional impact, that type of stuff's pretty big, man, and a big deal. Because once again, if you have characters in a movie you don't give a fuck about, which we've tons of them, right? We've
so many.
We don't even care if they live or die. Well, I think that ruins a movie almost, man.
For sure. I think that's, again, when we're just the water cooler talk in the morning.
Yeah.
We watched so-and-so movie. I didn't care about all the characters. Within 10 minutes, I wanted them all to die.
Sure,
You
right.
know?
But if we watch little Billy go to, he was stricken as a kid with polio, but beats it or somehow gets it cured, goes to a baseball game, finally gets on the team, hits the home run, wins the game. Now this is the best day of a little 6-year-old Billy's life.
Right.
And then dad hacks him up. Okay? Yeah. It's like, you fucking feel for Billy, right? You son of a bitch, man. How dare you, And that's what I like about that emotional impact about, getting, I guess what true crime actually really does. Because if you ever watch any of look at, and then a lot of times a lot of true crime don't really dive into the characters that die, right? So you look at Gacy, he was just picking up dudes and killing, young boys, having sex with them and kill them. Well, I think there's a little bit more story to that, right? I think these kids must have been something about these people that he took home and killed that, maybe we could connect to. I don't know, man.
And we just watched that, a great example is that Netflix documentary they just did on Dahmer, right?
Yeah.
And it's all through almost like the lens or the eye, what was going on with Dahmer, which is, again, it's great because it gives us that insight we talked about earlier with the psychological depth and all this.
Sure.
But as far as the other, there's the other lens of it, which is all of his victims.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, here we go with getting in. What if we got a little bit different look at their life, or what got them to the point of how did they meet Dahmer?
Sure. Yeah, to me that's interesting, man.
It's fascinating.
And if you take that side of it, once again, maybe we focus so much on serial killers, Jason Voorhees, or whoever, Michael Myers. But if there's no Laurie Strode, what I'm saying, or whatever, right? Then it's just kind of just killing. And there's movies out there that are just fucking straight up hack jobs, right? Just kill. Which sometimes that's all you want. I just want some brutality. Go. And that's fun. But a lot of times you want, you sit down for that night and you want a good fucking show.
You want a story.
Yeah. And you get it. So I think the last, I guess, bullet point we'll throw out there is kind of, say, blurring reality, right? And it reminds us that the horrors that could actually happen in this world, because, once again, I just said it, Michael Myers, or Jason Voorhees, or fucking Freddy Krueger, all make-believe, right? But then you see people that were, or movies that were actually inspired by true serial killers, like, wait a minute. So this could actually happen to me, right?
Absolutely.
If I go down this dark alley tonight, right, and I'm by myself, and what I'm saying, there's a good chance I might get an ice pick in the face. I don't fucking know,
And that's why Texas Chainsaw Massacre for me growing up, it wasn't my favorite movie, but it was the one I was most terrified of.
Yeah.
And it was because I wasn't worried about Jason coming up from Camp Crystal Lake to kill me. I wasn't worried about Michael the Boogeyman, but I was scared shitless of Texas Chainsaw Massacre because, they always told you, there was a real man that actually wore a dude's skin.
Yes.
And he was out there.
Fuck that guy, man. I love it. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And that's something that, this shit could happen. Now, look, is there a critter ball going to come down the road here and fucking run me over?
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, if I'm lucky. But I'm going to go roll the dice and say it's not going to happen to me today. But is there a chance that someone's going to come in and stick a machete in my face? Hey.
It could happen.
Weirder shit's happened to me, right? Well, actually, no. Let me back this up. I wasn't this one time in Thailand. I better not get that story. So anyway.
I'm just thinking about that critter ball obituary. How cool that would be.
Okay, that'd be rad. And then on my grave, can you just make a giant concrete critter ball, right?
Oh, yeah.
But me riding it on top, fucking.
I'll do you one better. I'll even have the pretty looking bounty hunter come over and give you your bid farewell.
This is why this is the blurring of a lot of reality and fiction. No, I'm just kidding. So there you go. There's our thoughts. Very educated thoughts today. I feel. I had Red Bull, so I feel. I feel
you
smart.
got wings.
I
baby.
had wings. So, but I'd like to know for you guys. I mean, what do you think true crime does for the horror genre? Does it hurt it? Does it, does it help it? I mean, whatever,
It's funny, man, because one of my favorite movies of all time is Exorcist Part 3.
Yes.
And that is a total true crime based
it really is.
story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So, and that's the next thing, too, is how would you handle, I want to ask this, and be kind, but be serious, but how would you handle the situation we were in yesterday with the lady that came in and that was visibly upset that we have serial killer merch here, right? Pretty much every fucking store has serial killer merch, right? There's a John Wayne Gacy clown almost in every fucking store, right now. You probably go to your grocery store down there. There's probably a little clown of
right, and there's probably a serial killer in that.
Yeah, it probably is, man. If you guys been to our grocery stores around here, holy shit,
probably a handful.
So I'm always curious how people how I handle that because you gotta once again you gotta respect their boundaries, but also I got to stand up for what I believe, right? And this is life we live, right?
Sure.
Are you going to just turn a blind eye to all this stuff? And I don't want to. Obviously, you don't want to glorify, these people, but also you can't you can't forget what they done to the victims too, right?
Right. I think it's the same thing with like in history. We get taught about all the wars that happen in the world. It's like if you go to a GameStop, you're selling shit about base Call of Duty games, and stuff, or Grand Theft Auto stuff.
Yeah,
I mean we
love that shit.
The Pandora's box, the portal's open. If like we can't sell
for sure
Charles Manson's license or something.
I bet, but I might have some. Okay, yeah, I was going to drop the ball and say, I have some Charles Manson stuff coming, by the way.
Which is very.
I don't want to run it. I don't want to run it.
Okay, less is more. Less is more.
My bad.
But I did get into funny story. I think you told us once before.
Yeah.
Never on camera though. I got into a Hooters, right?
Yeah.
And I was ordering a drink and I didn't have my license. Mm-hmm. A John Wayne Gacy ID got me my goddamn drink. Hooters
This is the best story ever. You literally got carded. You gave him a fake John Wayne Gacy ID that we sell here at the store, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of a fun little novelty. And it worked.
She looked at me twice, and she's like, all right, here's your drink.
Maybe I'll look in the mirror, buddy.
Yeah, I think I got some work to do. I got some work to do. I am a clown.
Yeah. Just throwing it out there. So, all right. Hey, let's go get stabbed in the face.
Let's say it's Friday.
Woo!